Hey there, I'm Kennedy, and I'm 27. Let me tell you about this recent not-so-pleasant situation I had with my sister-in-law and mother-in-law, which ended up with my sister-in-law's wedding being canceled. Sometimes people just get what they deserve. So here's the deal. I got married to Max when I was 25. We were gym buddies, and one day he casually asked me out for coffee. Long story short, I fell head over heels for the guy. He was seriously the most caring and understanding person I've ever met, and we're still crazy in love even after 2 years of marriage. On the flip side, we have my mother-in-law Claudia and my sister-in-law Miranda. Those two, let's just say they've never been my biggest fans, right from the moment we met. The first time I met Max's family was at his beach house. Miranda had her own reasons for disliking me. You see, Max used to date her best friend Barbara before we got together. Their breakup was pretty amicable, but you know how things can get. Miranda felt like I'd somehow stolen Max from her best friend, so there was some tension there. As for Claudia, she'd always been super protective of him. Max's dad passed away when he was just a teenager, so he's been the only guy in the house for a while. His mom and sister have always been all over him with love and care, which is cool with me, but Claudia, well, she couldn't quite wrap her head around the idea that I'd never be good enough for her son. So, a few months ago, Max and I got invited to a dinner at Claudia's place. Miranda still lived with Claudia at the time, and when we arrived, it was quite the crowd. There were Miranda's boyfriend, Cameron, and even Barbara. They had this barbecue shindig set up in the garden, and everyone was hanging out. Hey everyone, gather round. We've got something pretty damn special to share. You're all here because you mean a lot to us. Seriously. Now, I've never done this before, so bear with me. We have some exciting news to share.
I couldn't be more stoked to say that I popped the question to this amazing woman, Miranda, right here.
He took me out to a yacht, and let me tell you, the proposal couldn't have been more perfect. You guys, we decided that we're going to get married in a couple of months. The exact date is still up in the air, but one thing's for sure. You all mean a lot to us, and we want each one of you to be there with us. Get back to the barbecue, you all, now. Max and I headed over to Cameron and Miranda to offer our congratulations. Claudia was right there, too. Congrats, you two. Seriously. You're one of the cutest couples I've ever met. Well, I've seen a cuter couple. Max and Barb.
Come on, sis. Cut Kennedy some slack.
Oh my goodness, my daughter is finally getting married to a young gentleman like Cameron. She's so lucky.
I'm the lucky one here.
Well, son, we'll need your help with the wedding preparations, too.
Of course, Mom.
All right, guys. Catch you later. I've got to show my friends this shiny new ring of mine. Let's go, baby. So there was a wedding on the horizon in our family, and despite all the ups and downs between Miranda and me, I genuinely felt happy for her. Lovebirds getting together always warms my heart, and let me tell you, Cameron had been a part of Miranda's life for quite some time. He even joined us as her +1 at our wedding. I genuinely wish them all the best. After the engagement announcement, Max had been filling me in on Claudia's grand plans for Miranda's wedding. Cameron came from a seriously wealthy background, and Max explained that Mom wanted to make a lasting impression on Cameron's family while giving Miranda the wedding of her dreams. Claudia was fully in charge, and she had her eyes set on this extravagant mansion for the wedding venue. She also wanted guests to stay at the swanky Belmond Hotel. You know, the kind of stuff that speaks volumes. She was planning to keep the guest list exclusive, and it sounded like they were going all out. Claudia even talked about taking out a loan to cover the costs. Claudia, being pretty well off herself, taking out a loan for this wedding was a clear sign that this event was going to be a whole other level. Now, what Claudia was doing was undoubtedly a generous and expensive gesture for Miranda, but I couldn't help but wonder if it was all for her. Claudia had this thing. She liked showing off. And even at Max and my own wedding, she went to great lengths to make everything as glamorous as possible. But then there was a little problem. Claudia had informed Max that she had taken a loan from a bank. What she didn't know was the bank in question was owned by my dad. Now, Max knew this all along, but Claudia, well, she never really bothered getting to know me and my family on that level. She knew my dad did some banking stuff, but she never dug deeper. Honestly, it did not bother me much. Claudia and I used to have our little spats, but it was never a big deal. Besides, what else is a dad's bank for if not to help people out? The only problem was that Max was worried that if Claudia found out, she'd go absolutely bonkers. Claudia had a bit of an ego, and accepting help, especially from me or my side of the family, would probably make her head spin. Max wanted everything to go smoothly for Miranda's wedding and didn't want drama. She was his sister, after all. I told Max that we could keep them in the dark about this and no one would ever know. So a few days later, we found ourselves back at Claudia's for dinner, and it was all about wedding talk again. It was as if nothing else in the world mattered to Claudia, which was understandable. Miranda wasn't there, so it was just Claudia, Max, and me at dinner.
Vera Wang is Miranda's absolute favorite designer, and I'm thrilled that we can get her a wedding dress from her latest collection.
Wow, Vera Wang is pretty high-end.
Yes, she's quite expensive. We did check out other designers too, but, well, you wouldn't know about them. I want nothing but the best for my daughter. I don't know much about all this either, Mom. By the way, Kennedy, it's great that you're here today. I've been meaning to talk to you about something.
Sure, Claudia, go ahead.
Well, it's not just me. Even Miranda agrees. The wedding is going to be a very intimate event with a limited guest list. The thing is, it might be better if you didn't come.
What? Why, Claudia?
You see, there will be a certain type of person at this wedding, and you know how Cameron's side of the family is, right? We need to maintain a certain image. Mom, what's this nonsense? Listen, the location is lavish, and everything from the flowers to the caters is top-notch. I'm just saying, Kennedy, well, you might not fit in among us. You know, honestly speaking, you are too poor to be there. You're not exactly cut out for all this. We would not want you to feel out of place.
Wow, Claudia. I don't even know what to say. I thought we were family.
Of course, sweetie. We are family, but remember your own wedding? It looks like a farm wedding in that rusty place. You should have thanked me for saving your big day. Mom, that's enough. You need to remember that's my wife you're talking to. This doesn't even make any sense. If she isn't going, then I won't be there either.
Max, please, can we just calm down?
Oh no, Max, you're definitely coming. Just because your wife is low maintenance and embarrassing doesn't mean you are either. Oh my God, enough, Mom. Do you even know who you're talking about? I was planning to keep this away from you, but...
Max, just think before you speak.
The money you loaned from that bank, Mom, belongs to Kennedy's dad. Oh my God, what? Your dad?
Yes, my dad. Just because I prefer a simpler lifestyle doesn't mean I'm lacking.
Oh my God. Mom, you've got to respect her. After all this, I guess none of us will be attending the wedding. We're leaving. Make sure you inform Miranda.
It was one hell of a dramatic dinner. On the way back home, Max reassured me of his love and apologized for his mom's behavior. I was deeply hurt and insulted. I knew Claudia was attacking me for no reason, but I couldn't help but feel embarrassed. How could they exclude me from Miranda's wedding? Even Miranda even seemed to be in on it. It hurt that they hadn't fully accepted me as part of their family yet, and that's probably why they did what they did. I was really hurt. But Max was incredibly understanding. He even told me that he wouldn't attend his own sister's wedding if I wasn't invited, which was incredibly sweet of him. Sometimes, despite Claudia's hurtful comments, moments like these remind me of why I was putting up with their behavior. Because of Max, the love of my life. A couple of days later, something totally unexpected happened. Max was at work, and I was home when the doorbell rang early in the morning. There stood a delivery guy with a bouquet of orchids and a box. I brought them inside and opened the box to find a bottle of Domaine Laurel wine. Now, I'm no wine connoisseur, but I knew it was one of the most expensive wines in the world. There was no note or anything with the delivery, and I couldn't figure out who could have sent it. I checked the price online, and it was $8,000. I was utterly shocked. Then my phone rang. It was Claudia on the line.
Hey, I hope you received the special gift I sent for you.
Oh, that was you?
Yes, I just wanted to apologize for what happened at dinner that night. I didn't know what I got into my head. I talked things over with Miranda, and we both want you there.
Oh, a sudden change of behavior, huh?
I know what you're thinking. You think it's about the loan. I'll be honest with you. It is just that you did so much for me, your dad, and everything, and kept it away from me. Miranda and I just feel guilty and embarrassed about our behavior.
I felt pretty embarrassed too at dinner, Claudia.
Honey, we are the ones who should be embarrassed. We don't deserve you. Please try to give us a second chance and be there at the wedding. We can even book you a suite for the wedding. We have talked through it all.
This is not about the money, Claudia, and honestly, you didn't even have to send this wine over to me. I just wanted to feel like I was part of this family.
I am sorry, dear. Just a second chance to make things right. You are my son's wife, after all. He loves you for a reason, and I trust his decision. Think about it and let me know, will you?
Okay, I'll think about it. When Max got back from work, I filled him in on the whole wine and phone call situation. One thing I absolutely adored about Max was his fair and unbiased nature. He is all about fairness and equality, and he is not afraid to call anyone out, no matter if they're related or not. He also understood that dealing with his mom and sister could be complex.
Kenny, baby, you don't have to go if you don't want to. I don't like the way my mom talked to you at all that night.
Yeah, me either.
I would not take that bullshit from anyone either.
Look, I get it. But she sounded apologetic over the phone, and after all, Miranda is your sister. I would not want you to miss her wedding just because I'm not invited.
I'll just follow wherever you lead, baby. If you're not wanted, I'm not going either.
Aw, that means the world to me. And I know your sister means a lot to you too. I'm telling you, Claudia seems like she really wanted that second chance.
How did I get so lucky to get a wife like you, who is always ready to pick up with my crazy family?
Oh, babe. So, should I let Claudia know that we're in?
Yeah, sure.
Everything seemed to be falling into place. Claudia and Miranda both appeared genuinely sorry, and they went out of their way to make me feel like an important part of the family. I was almost overwhelmed at times. Miranda constantly sought my advice on everything, from her wedding dress to seating arrangements, and she even asked me to be one of her bridesmaids. Of course, Barbara was her maid of honor, but I never expected to be part of the bridal party given our history. It all felt a bit strange and forced, but I figured it was just for the wedding, and I was doing it for my husband's sake. Little did I know, things were about to take a wild turn, and it all started with Max's idea to create a video for Miranda to play at her wedding. He wanted to film it in their childhood home to capture all the nostalgic moments, like the time they locked themselves in the treehouse and snoozed away while Claudia went bonkers searching for them. Max had shared those stories with me, and I thought it was a lovely idea. Max was such a sweetheart for doing this. He asked for my help, and how could I say no? So Max checked Miranda's schedule with Claudia, and when Miranda was away, we sneaked over to shoot the video. Claudia was not there either. It took us nearly 4 hours to cover everything, but we managed it. Afterward, we headed to Max's childhood bedroom to rest for a bit. Max and Miranda's bedrooms were right next to each other, connected through a door. You could only get to Max's room through Miranda's room, so they were kinda interconnected. As Max and I sat in silence, we overheard Miranda. She had just gotten home, and she was talking on the phone with someone. We could not just barge out because she would spot us, so we had to wait until she left the room. Even though we did not mean to eavesdrop, we could hear every word of her conversation loud and clear. Oh my god, this is so annoying. I even have to include her to be part of the bridal crew. You're right. She's going to ruin my party. Well, first that skank steals Max from you, and now? You're right. I don't know what's the deal with my mom, Barbara. She does not want her there as much as I do. There were a lot of banks in town, and she picked that one, and now we have to do stuff for her? Nice idea. We can make the wedding hell for her.
Let's just not give her an order for the bridesmaid's dress, and when it doesn't come in, we can say the shop made a mistake and excluded her. I'll make her sit at the children's table for dinner. That's what my mom said. We just need to put up with her for a little while. God knows why Max likes her. Anyway, who are you bringing as your +1? Is it Kyle? I had tears in my eyes, and Max looked at me with sympathetic eyes. He seemed embarrassed and tried to whisper an apology. I got up and moved closer to the door. Ugh, Kyle is so yummy. I'm stuck with that dummy forever now. I didn't know what instinct kicked in, but I started recording on the camera. But Kyle might be ugly and sort of a loser, but with all that money, he's worth it. Do you think we would do all this to impress a broke guy? Ugh, Barb, you know we started dating casually, and then when I got to know he was loaded and I was getting old? Don't worry, my eyes will be on Kyle at the wedding all the time. Well, I don't think it's wrong. You're allowed to have some days when you can mess up once in a while, even though you're married, especially to someone like Cameron. Anyway, I gotta run. Are we still on for the cake tasting tomorrow? Okay, bye. Miranda left, and finally, Max spoke. He told me he was very sorry and suggested that we leave the house. During the car ride back home, he said he would confront his mom and Miranda about it. Max was totally on my side on this one. He was really mad at his family, and it showed. He understood that it was a sick joke they were playing on me. To be honest, I felt like a fool. Claudia and Miranda had played me. I was tired of being the victim. I could not let them just use me like that and get away with it. Miranda and Claudia were up to no good, especially Miranda. All that crap about Cameron was unacceptable. Cameron was a genuine guy, and I would not let him marry someone who was just after his money. Also, she pretty much admitted that cheating was acceptable sometimes. The whole conversation was so wrong. Cameron deserved better. I had to do something. Later that night when I went home, I extracted the audio from the video that I had recorded. I began by sending it to Cameron. He had to know the truth. But I didn't stop there. Max was in charge of the wedding invites, so he had the entire document on the laptop with everyone's phone numbers and emails. I sent the audio to each and every guest on the list and wrote a little note saying, "Cheers to the bride, Miranda." After that, I went to sleep. I woke up and Max was already up. He'd heard the news from either his mom or Miranda. I wasn't sure who reached out to him first. Max didn't object to what I had done. He thought it was the right move. When I checked my phone, I saw a bunch of missed calls from both Miranda and Claudia, along with some texts from Miranda. What have you done? Pick up my call! You ruined my relationship! Cameron broke up with me last night. You embarrassed me in front of all my friends. I had a nice reputation, unlike you. Pick up the phone. I said, you tacky wench. I blocked Claudia and Miranda's numbers from my phone. I did what I thought was necessary, and frankly, they got what was coming to them. It has been about a month since all this went down, and I've completely cut ties with them. Claudia tried to talk to Max, saying that Miranda was furious with both of us, but Max could not care less. Max knows the kind of person I am and the kind of people they are. So choosing sides was not a difficult decision, especially after their actions. Claudia also whined about non-refundable expenses and having to fork out a lot to repay the loan. And of course she's pointing fingers at me. Miranda's wedding was obviously canceled, and Cameron rightfully broke up with her. Even Max has distanced himself from his family, realizing that there's only so much he can tolerate. He believes that there is no limit to everything, and his family has unquestionably crossed all of ours. I have finally come to terms with the fact that I forgave the wrong people way too many times. But now, they're out of our lives, and it's so nice to have a little less drama and negativity around.